watch. You guys know the dude who makes Monster Hunter Legos? Like how you can make Monsters using Legos, and he has like a Patreon where you get like the plans and shit. And how I keep telling you I'm gonna make one on stream, and I'm gonna make a Barroth, and I haven't yet. I don't know if you guys remember him. I didn't even know he did YouTube videos, but he does. And he made one that I'm like really curious to watch, because it's about why Capcom will not port Monster Hunter. Cause like you know, we were all like hoping that something would happen, like 3 or 4 would get ported so that we'd have something to play until Wilds came out. I don't know if this one only focuses on the first Monster Hunter or if it's all Monster Hunters or what. But I'm excited because I actually am really curious what these say. And I peeked at the comments and people don't seem to be super happy with some of the stuff he said. So I'm very curious. I don't even know what his videos are like. I've never watched one before, but yeah. I am curious. I wonder what fucking hot takes this man has, because apparently the comments were not that happy about it, and some of them were like, this is why we emulate, this is why we pirate, and I'm like, wait, no, that's bad. So there's like, on one of the threads in the comments is just a huge argument about whether you should or shouldn't pirate old Monster Hunter games. Yeah, we love drama, man. Okay, let's watch this dude. I hope it's in a good video.
In December of 2005, Capcom ported Monster Hunter G, originally a PS2 game, to the PSP, retitling it to Monster Hunter Portable. With the lack of online servers and the second analog stick seen on the DualShock 2 controller, Monster Hunter Portable was functionally a different game from Monster Hunter G. They even added a new monster that you could potentially fight. It controlled differently, and the progression was handled differently than Monster Hunter G.
Loud.
These adjustments were necessary to allow for this game to function on a PSP. There are other changes, but there's no time to list all the individual changes.
Best emote combo.
In June of 2007, Capcom ported Monster Hunter 2 DOS, originally a PS2 game, to the PC. They retitled the game as Monster Hunter Frontier. Originally, the game was functionally the same as Monster Hunter 2's online multiplayer mode, adding exclusive content with the promise of several more massive content updates on the way. There's no time to list all the other individual changes. After a few years, Frontier resembled very little of the original Monster Hunter 2. The online servers for Monster Hunter Frontier were shut down December 19th, 2019.
I never got to play that one.
In April of 2009, Capcom ported Monster Hunter G, again, but this time to the Wii, with assistance from 18 Company. This was just a few months before the release of Monster Hunter Tri, and this port included a demo and other promotional material for Monster Hunter Tri. This game served as a means to help move the player base from the PS.
I feel like I need to for a little bit go here, because you can't see the graphic difference is like actually pretty good.
PS2
there we go.
Over to the Wii, and hopefully get
now
that
I'm
player
just in the middle
base
of
to
the
buy
React.
Monster Hunter Tri when it released later that year. This port also featured several small gameplay adjustments, all in the effort to make the game more up-to-date. In other words, quality of life changes. Effectively, Monster Hunter G was upgraded to the standards of Monster Hunter Portable 2nd G. Again, there's no time to list all the individual little changes.
Thank you for not listing those.
The online servers for both the Wii titles, Monster Hunter G and Monster Hunter Tri, were shut down on September 12th, 2013. In December of 2011, Capcom ported Monster Hunter Tri to the 3DS, once again with the assistance of 18 Company. It was retitled to Monster Hunter 3G. In retrospect, we call this title the G expansion of Monster Hunter Tri, but comparing the two games reveal that they are quite different, both mechanically and aesthetically. It's not quite the same as how Monster Hunter G was an upgrade to Monster Hunter 1, nor is it the same as how Monster Hunter...
What is... Oh... Transferable save files? I didn't know they did that. Base game stayed relatively the same. Minor changes. Major addition is G level.
Portable Second G was an
I
upgrade
know how
to
much you
Monster Hunter
fuckers
Portable
like your
Second.
G level.
If anything,
Your
a
G
better
rank.
comparison would be the port of Monster Hunter G to Monster Hunter Portable. It is similar content, same village, but it's a different game with different means
Oh yeah,
of
G
which
rank's
you
been
go
around for a
online and
while.
play online, and some different quests, and with extra monsters. It was then quickly ported to Wii U as Monster Hunter 3G HD version, once again with assistance from 8 Company. The only change was access to a proper online server for multiplayer. The 3DS version previously handled multiplayer like the PSP games, but this Wii U
That was such like a garbage online system. I don't miss that. I do not miss the PSP online system. It was fucking hell and impossible to find anyone to play with in America. Like, if you were in America, you couldn't play with anyone. It sucked.
version handled multiplayer how it's treated in the current titles, with 4-player matchmaking lobbies. The online servers for all 3DS and the Wii U game were shut down in April of 2024 this year.
And everyone lost their fucking mind when it happened. Just saying.
In May of 2014, Capcom ported Monster Hunter Portable 2nd G to the iOS store. The only necessary change was the controls. iPhone controls
Dude, playing Monster Hunter on iOS sounds fucking horrible. I could not even imagine playing with these controls. Like, what the fuck? I can't. Like, playing with this? This looks like fucking hell.
are
Does he
exclusively
show?
the touchscreen, but otherwise the game is the same
Look how you have to go to your items. You have to swipe to your items. Fuck that.
as the original release.
How do you
it
do your
has
weapon?
since been removed from the App Store.
Oh my gosh.
In
Fuck no.
2018, Capcom ported Monster Hunter Double Cross to the Switch, again with assistance from 8 Company. The only necessary change was the adjustments to the controls for the migration from 3DS to the Switch. Otherwise, the game is the same as the original release. Monster Hunter Double Cross is a celebratory title that features the villages from all 3 prior portable titles, and accounts for nearly all of the monster and equipment from those titles.
I tried playing stories on mobile because like I got it for free on iPhone. It was okay. Not the best, honestly. It's doable, but I really don't like playing mobile games like that require you to have that like little circle pad in order to move around and shit with your finger. It is not my favorite.
Monster Hunter Double Cross is currently one of 3 Monster Hunter games with surviving online servers. Every other title in the series has lost their official servers and lost access to downloadable content.
Get fucked.
Now, you may have noticed some patterns in this list of ports. More often than not, they outsource the project to another team, 8 Company. More often than not, the game is updated from the ground up. It's not just the controls being updated in many of those cases. Even minor changes like adding the ability to send your reward materials directly to your item box at the end of quests, or changing the online multiplayer hub location, can have a major impact on the overall gameplay loop and the game's aesthetics. And to some players, these changes go unnoticed.
Wait, that ignorance is a key aspect of the series. Wow, that's kind of rude. Monster Hunter does not begin and end within a single title, but rather is the growth through many. Okay, well that I can understand. That is true. That is true. You don't gotta put it as ignorance.
But to others, it's rocking at the very core of what made them enjoy the original. For example, comparing Monster Hunter 2 DOS to its PC port, Monster Hunter Frontier, is a very unfair comparison. They couldn't be any further apart in differences, both game.
Is this kind of similar to like how people always compare Rise to World? Because that shit pisses me off because they don't understand the concept of differences. They don't understand the concept of why they're different, and that drives me nuts.
Play and aesthetic, and I know this because I've played both of them. More often than not, they are porting to and from consoles that are without a doubt gimmicky. Take for example Portable 2nd G for the iOS. This is an iPhone game that exclusively controls using the touchscreen, which was originally a PSP game without touchscreen controls. That was an expansion of another PSP game that featured content and a gameplay loop that originated on a game for the PS2, which had more buttons on the controller compared to the PSP.
This is what I was thinking when he was going over this.
I was like, what the fuck? Exclusive content from a game that's for PC, a game that's adjusted to be playable with a keyboard. The series went from PS2 to PSP to Wii to 3DS to PS4 and Xbox to Switch, with like weird detours to other consoles. This is an important part to note. Now, Monster Hunter Wilds is releasing next year, and Capcom is celebrating Monster Hunter's 20th anniversary, and so us fans, we've been clamoring for more ports of these older games. Again, the only
I say please, even though I know this whole video is him saying that it's not gonna happen, but please.
The ones you can currently play with official servers are Double Cross, World, and Rise. To us fans, it seems like a no-brainer for them to port, say, Monster Hunter 4G or Monster Hunter 3G to the PC and modern consoles, right? But they haven't ported them.
I know.
And I don't think they will.
I think this man's video is just going to be like crushing my dreams for the next like 13, 15 minutes. That's all this video is going to be, is making me cry.
Will port them. Because Capcom doesn't want you to just buy any Monster Hunter game. They want you to buy the newest update for the current Monster Hunter game. They want you to buy all the extra downloadable content for their current Monster Hunter game.
Okay, well then put it on PC and make me pay for it, even though it's an older game, because I fucking will. If you ported 3 or 4 to PC and made me pay for it, I would. I don't understand that. I will give you money.
And I'm not trying to say that corporate Capcom is just milking you of your money, which they are. But no, this is also developer Capcom, viewing Monster Hunter as an evolving, changing game that is about the future, not the past.
Oh, okay. I really like that line though, because like so many people come into chat and like they like, okay, what was it? It was like, I think it was last week. Someone came in and they asked, what would you rather have, new monsters or new gimmicks, right? Like a new mechanic. And like I told the dude, I was like, you can't choose. You need both. You need both new things for the series to continue. It's like you need new shit to make it entertaining. If you keep just bringing back old shit and you don't add anything new to it, then it's just going to be the same game over and over again. So I agree. Oh, I was like, where'd my sound go?
What kind of game is Monster Hunter anyway? Monster Hunter isn't a game with a 20-hour single-player campaign. It does not begin when you press start on the title screen, and it does not end when the credits roll. Monster Hunter is a game that presents you the credits for the game when you're only 10% done. Monster Hunter is a game that will ask you to transfer your player data from the previous title, because it has in the past. Monster Hunter is a game that receives minor and major updates all the time. Some you pay for, some you don't. People worry about Monster Hunter becoming a live service game.
They will never get rid of Rathian and Rathalos. So Monster Hunter's key, like the key to Monster Hunter, is to bring back some old stuff, because Monster Hunter people, we want that nostalgia. We want that thing that we recognize, that thing we know, that we like can start the game off and been like, I've already fought Rathian 100 times. Like, that's easy. But then they take those old mechanics and those old monsters to teach you new mechanics to lead into new Monster Hunters. Black Rathalos would be kind of cool. I'd be down. Yeah, they'll just add like 50 new variants. It's fine.
Game, guys, it always has been a live service game.
Yes. Always live, always playing with people.
Did you know that while the West played Monster Hunter 1 and Monster Hunter Tri for free, Japan had to pay for online play monthly? Did you know that in Monster
I didn't know that. I didn't know you had to pay monthly for the first Monster Hunter. Holy shit. Nostalgia has been following me since 2006. I'm over it. You just sound like an old grumpy dude. And nostalgia's good. I like having the older monsters show up still. That's why you have the combination of old and new. You have a both. I've been playing since the very first Monster Hunter, and I still like seeing Rathalos and Rathian show up. They're no longer like the main key of Monster Hunter. Like, they're no longer like the selling point. They're the main monster. Like, they're just there in the background now, but I like having them in the background. All the monsters and new ones, I'd be down.
Under 4G, you were prevented from fighting certain monsters like G-Rank Silver and Gold Wraths or Old Fatalis until a content update was dropped 6 months after release. Did you know that this formula has been around since Monster Hunter 1, requiring the player to wait weeks for certain event quests to become active to fight certain monsters? Did you know that in Monster Hunter 2, it required the player to wait for siege events to even partake in siege events, and those were also in real time? Did you know that the only way to fight Yang Garuga in Monster Hunter Portable or Monster Hunter 2 DOS is to own both games and to connect them together via USB from your PSP to your PS2? Imagine spending $200 extra dollars just to fight one monster.
I'd do it. I would pay it.
Monster Hunter is a 1,000-hour action MMORPG light that just happens to console hop every couple years. The console hopping is the only thing that separates the game from other action MMORPGs, because every new console meant a new title, and with every new title required the player to actually restart from nothing.
Yes.
It's interesting to see how Monster Hunter looks when—
This has been like, I always talk about this, right? Like, games keep coming up with, like, okay, I will always use Overwatch 2 as an example, right? Overwatch 2, brand new fucking game, right? Except for not, because they just let you take all of your shit from the old game and play the new game so you don't start over. I like the starting over concept in Monster Hunter. Can you imagine if Wilds came out and we just used our world saves and we're like all max rank with fucking fatty gear and we play Wilds without starting over? That would fucking suck. Old is good. It's that feeling of experiencing another way of something you know. It feels comforting. Yeah, it's the comfort, nostalgia. And then you can get new things. Mixing old and new is very cool. Yes, exactly. If you take Monster Hunter World Iceborne, they did well with that. You start new 1-star and 2-stars are new monsters. 3 stars is huge, go back in time. Only old things, then 4 is back to new, 5 back to old. Yeah, I like that. It's like you get like new nostalgia, new. Yeah, it's good. I really like that that formula for Monster Hunter, and I really hope that they keep that with Wilds. Overwatch 2 is an overhaul to Overwatch. Yeah, and that's stupid. I'm like the only person who's excited that Smite 2 is making you have to get like start from scratch. And like everyone's like, my skins. And I'm like, they give you money for your skins. It's fine. But I like when a game starts over. That's why I want a new Destiny instead of more expansions. That's why I want a new World of Warcraft instead of just expansions. I want new and I want to start over.
And you put it on one console and you let it sit there for a whole decade, because we had that. If mainline Monster Hunter also started on PC and never left PC, the series might have looked quite different. So in the end, we're very
Revolver, why would you say such a thing? Why would you say you hope Wilds has Rampage? Get out. No. Don't say that. Don't jinx us like that.
Happy that it was console hopping, but we can't forget
Time
the
him
fact
out.
that this is still an action MMORPG light that is constantly evolving, like a typical PC-based MMORPG. Much of the content in these games are transferable. I wouldn't be surprised if in their development of any new monster, it's a twofold development of applying that new monster to the current game while also building that monster and preparing it so that it could be transferred to future titles. Compare Khezu from Monster Hunter 1 to Khezu in Monster Hunter Rise. That's nearly 20 years of development, and the monster functions almost exactly the same, for better or for worse.
And I love him.
Content has been transferred from game to game and updated as they've gone along. So when some players say that you don't need to play the older titles before Double Cross, because Double Cross has most of the content of the older titles, they're kind of right. The main gameplay loop has been effectively the same since the very beginning. The Monster Hunter titles are comparable to fighting games with rotating character rosters. Each new release may have new characters or a selection of returning characters. The one thing that cannot be transferred between games is, of course, the specific minor gameplay and aesthetic adjustments that have retrospectively made each title unique. It's why I made such a big video about Monster Hunter 2, it's why Monster Hunter 4 is my favorite, it's why some fans are asking for their favorite old title to be ported, because each one is still special. Unfortunately, that's not how Capcom sees their games. They don't see it as a series of individually special games. They view it as a series that is pushing forward, and each game is more or less a stepping stone of the exact same content.
I could agree.
The Monster Hunter developers clearly respect and honor the older titles in the series. They constantly reference the past titles, and they regularly pull content into the newer games. That's clear. To them, there's no need to port Monster Hunter 4G. Instead, just put Gore Magala and Seregios in Monster Hunter Rise.
Okay, but like the money they would get, bro. If it like I can see his reasoning. Like, I can definitely see his reasoning, but can you imagine if all they did was port Tri or 4 to PC? They would make so much money from all the Monster Hunter fans who need something until Wilds comes out. That's like my biggest argument as to why I think they could port and should port, is because we have a year minimum, a year until Wilds comes out. That's a year of them not making money if they don't fucking port an older game. I mean, versus the development, that's true. I don't know. I am not a game developer. I don't know how hard it is to port a game like that to PC. I mean, they did it for Rise and World and other games in the past. So, I mean, they had Dragon's Dogma 2, but that was done. Everyone's done with that game. No more. A whole year.
To Capcom, this is
That's a bad analysis. Business-wise, it's bad. Each game has a specific toolkit to play with. People want that toolkit, not just the monster. That's also why we want new weapons. Yeah, so that's why I think, like, if they ported a game with water combat, I think that would be fucking great for them. Because, like, let's go under the assumption that Wilds won't have water combat. Or even that it will. Either way, porting a Monster Hunter to PC that has water combat is a mechanic that a lot of people didn't get to experience if they didn't play that game. And so I think that would actually be really good business-wise for them. I think they'd make a lot of money off of that because people would be like, well, I want to play this Monster Hunter with water combat because I never got to. And that's something totally fucking new to the series.
enough. In many ways, Monster Hunter Rise could be viewed as a spiritual successor to Monster Hunter Portable 3rd. You know, director Ichinose has never said it out loud, but I mean, come on. You don't have to hide it from us. No one will be upset if you said Monster Hunter Rise is the Portable 3rd you've always envisioned. Because, I mean, a lot of people have said it. It kind of is. Many of the new armor skills featured in Sunbreak actually originated in Frontier. Actually, many mechanics originated in Frontier. Even small quality of life things. There's so many, I'm not even gonna bother listing them. If the developers really wanted to revive an old concept, we would see it in a current game. The series is still too young to be thinking about the days past. It's a series that is moving forward with careful.
I'm so conflicted because he's right and wrong at the same time. He's right and wrong. Like, the fucking nostalgia people have for old Monster Hunter games, or even people who never played the old Monster Hunter games and they want to experience the older Monster Hunter games. How many people are going back to GU right now? An insane amount of people are going back to GU because, like, they want to experience what an older Monster Hunter was like. Ah, man, like, I can see the whole, like, moving forward thing, blah, 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 yeah, but also I think porting an older Monster Hunter would just be a really good business decision.
Crafted changes to the formula that benefit the experience they are crafting. Capcom only transfers.
I mean, GU is a little bit of an older experience because you take people who've only played Rise and World. They don't know what the fuck a paintball is. They don't know what it's like to have to get a map out of the box. They don't know the little trick about waving at the balloon to find the monster on the map because they're used to being babied and having the monster on the map at all times. So GU is like the newest, oldest experience you can get right now. It's like the game before Rise that still has like the older Monster Hunter mechanics that like a lot of people who only played Rise and World never got to experience. Just like, I love watching people who only played Rise and World go to GU and not know that they have to take the map out of the box. It's the most hilarious thing ever. So it's like they have to play a game that doesn't have the quality of life that Rise and World has, and it's kind of hilarious. And I love it. I want paintballs back, man. I still stick to that.
Content forward that happens to be the best content, the most appropriate content. And the corporate side of the company just wants our money, and they want us to keep buying their new DLC for their
Dude, okay, he's contradicting himself though, right? If they want their money, then port an old game. They would get money from it. If they ported an old game, they would get money from it. So I don't understand that argument.
shiny new game. Guys, I think some of you need a wake-up call. What is Monster Hunter's target audience? Point at yourself and call yourself the audience of Monster Hunter. You're right. You're right. You are the audience of Monster Hunter.
I am right, thank you.
But you and I, we're only the smallest fraction of the sales revenue. You want to know what the real target audience of Monster Hunter is? It's those fools that demanded Capcom release more updates to World on every social media post advertising Rise. There's a reason why I have a TikTok account. There is a whole...
Well, yeah, I'm not okay, but just because they are focusing on Wilds doesn't mean they can't also get a port out. They do have multiple divisions of Monster Hunter. I'm not saying delay Wilds to get a port out. I'm saying get a port out while we wait for Wilds to just get some quick money in. They ported Rise to PC. They ported World to PC. They could probably port one of the Wii ones to PC. Yeah, and actually, this guy even pointed out in the beginning of the video, they don't do the ports themselves. They hire an outside company. What was it, Aiding? They hire Aiding to port their games. So they could just hire that company to port one of their other games while they still work on Wilds, and then we have something to do. They pay the companies, but then they make money off of it by the ports. I think that a lot of people... I think we're underestimating the player base of Monster Hunter these days. Because a lot of us remember the days when Monster Hunter wasn't popular and it didn't get popular until World came out. But I think it's making such a big fucking comeback. And honestly, making a port after Asmon made the game blow up a bit kind of could have been a smart decision. That's assuming that we don't even know how much they charge these companies, or the companies charge them to do the port. We don't know if it's a ton of money, if it's minimal compared to what their sales would be. We don't know any of that. So it's hard to know that decision without knowing how much that would cost them and how much they could make in the meantime.
Different audience out there compared to the people watching this video and commenting in the comments below. The truth is, us hyper-focused, autistic Monster Hunter fans are a minority. Our demands for a Monster Hunter, for anything Monster Hunter, falls on deaf ears.
Also, this is assuming just for the English audiences, the American audiences. The fucking Japanese Monster Hunter fan base, I think they would make enough money off of that alone.
It makes more money to release a game that appeals to a wider audience. A game that's easier to play. A game that's a sequel to the highest selling Capcom game of all time. Make no mistake, Monster Hunter World sold better than Monster Hunter 3G on Wii U. It also sold better than Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii. And that game had TV advertising that people fondly remember. And it was on the Wii. Everyone had a Wii. The truth is, Monster Hunter Tri did not and will not be a hit. It doesn't matter what they do to it.
Yeah, okay, so this, first of all, he's ignoring the main thing he said at the very beginning, which is that a separate company does the porting. So the Wilds team, whatever, they wouldn't have to delay any Wilds. So he's ignoring that. He's also only really focusing on the American fan base. He is not accounting for other fan bases. Monster Hunter Japan was fucking huge. The reason that PSP version sucked for Americans is because the American fan base wasn't as big, but the Japanese fan base was huge, and they had no problem using ad hoc to find people to play next to. We did. I did. I could never find anyone to play with.
It was not a hit, and it won't be a hit. Monster Hunter World, on the other hand, was a hit. And it continues to be a hit. It continues to sell. I would not be surprised if the bulk audience of players would actually be confused if they didn't port the older games correctly. If they ported, say, Monster Hunter 3G, and they would name it Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, they could only advertise it as a classic game. Because if they didn't, the fools would act even worse than they did when Rise came out, demanding Capcom stop porting those garbage 3DS baby games and make another real man's game like Monster Hunter World. Imagine how many players would mistakenly think that Monster Hunter 3 was the next installment after World and Rise. It's the third one. They would be deeply offended by what was given.
The Monster Hunter community is always offended. The Monster Hunter community bitches and moans and complains on a daily fucking basis. They just live to complain about everything. So yeah, the Redditors and the Twitter people, they would complain about a port and find everything that was wrong with it, but the people who actually like the game would be happy.
And maybe they might not touch the series again. I know what you're thinking. That sounds crazy, Jacob. But people are actually that ignorant. Go onto any of my TikTok videos and read the comment section. I am serious.
I want to
read a comment section on any.
What the fuck is this baby game? Bring Back World? Why do they call them baby games? I don't understand, because they World and Rise are the baby games when it comes to quality of life. Like, wait. World and Rise are the baby games? Oh, for the graphics? Fucking graphics snobs? Oh my gosh.
Of the official Monster Hunter Rise promotional posts from 2021.
What is name game? What?
The #1 priority for Capcom is to make another Monster Hunter world. Nothing else matters. And artistically, from the developer's point of view, it allows the developers to pursue new and uncharted territory for the series. They already made Monster Hunter 1. They already made Monster Hunter 2. They don't want to remake it. They want to make Monster Hunter 6. They want to make Monster Hunter Wilds. They want to do things they've never done before. So
100% the loudest complainers are World and Rise. 100%.
what happens if they do port a classic Monster Hunter title? Like, I'll play it, I'll buy it, hell yeah. Like, they would absolutely make some money off of us diehard fans.
Same.
I'm not making this video to say that that's a bad idea. I'm saying this to kind of like explain why they haven't done it up until now. But let's say theoretically they did port a classic Monster Hunter title. I guess.
Okay, at least he said what I was saying that whole time, so he did like elaborate on that.
Question would be, what title would they port? Would they do Monster Hunter 1 or Monster Hunter G? They'd probably do Monster Hunter G, right?
They do
Because
try
they already
or
ported
4.
that game twice.
They would do
Would
try
they
or
port Monster
4.
Hunter 2, or would they do Portable 2nd G? Because like Portable 2nd G has more content and it's more beloved by the West. And I also think it's more beloved by Japan as well. But you know, like Monster Hunter 2 has more unique gameplay gimmicks, and I think like a lot of people should play Monster Hunter 2, but it seems like they don't really acknowledge it. Would they port Monster Hunter 3, or would they port Monster Hunter 3G? Because we've described it before, they're very different games. Would they port Portable 3rd? You know, like most of the content from Monster Hunter G, Portable 2nd G, and Portable 3rd.
I think it would be smart as fuck to port one with water combat. To port water combat would be so smart because it's something that the new Monster Hunter player base hasn't gotten to see, and that would be fucking smart. I think that would be their one selling point, to be like, you haven't played water combat yet? Well, now's your chance. I think that'd be super fucking smart.
Third, that's all in Double Cross, and a lot of the aesthetic lines up, so they should probably just port Double Cross, right? Would they keep the games exactly as they were, or would they change things like they always have before? Would they do more quality of life changes like they did when they ported Monster Hunter G? Would they do things that they promised but then weren't able to do before? Like they wanted to add Espinas to Portable 2nd G, but it ended up being a canceled monster for that game, so would they bring him in if they ported it? If they ported a game like Monster Hunter 2, would they keep its brutal gameplay features and like even things like the hunting exams gimmick, which I never even talked about in my Monster Hunter 2 video, but would they include those exactly as they are, even though they're horrible? Like, everyone hates that feature. If they ported a game like Monster Hunter 3, would it have 8-person lobbies like the Japanese release, or would it have 4-person lobbies like the Western release?
8.
If they ported a game like 4G or Double Cross, they probably wouldn't be able to include any of the collaborative licensed event quests and equipment, which kind of sucks, but it's understandable. And it really wouldn't be appropriate to release a 3DS or PSP game to Steam and keep the visuals exactly as they were, right? Like, they would have to, at the very least, like, upscale.
I disagree. If they ported, like, Generations, if they ported DGU to Steam and it had the same graphics as it does, like, on Switch, I'd be okay. I'd be happy. I wouldn't care. And I think a lot of people wouldn't care.
The textures, right? They'd have to increase the screen resolution.
GU on Steam would be fire.
They have to improve rendering, improve frame rates, right? Like, otherwise we'd be upset.
Honestly, look, okay, so they don't even have to port Try, as much as I would love like underwater combat ported. They They don't even have to do that. Just port fucking GU to Steam, and so many of us would be happy. So many, because it would be so much nicer and better, and it'd be easy, I think, honestly.
But I mean, we saw in Double Cross that like they didn't exactly do justice to the older generation maps. I don't like how the swamp looks in Double Cross, and there's a lot of people that don't like how it looks, especially if you see how it looks in Monster Hunter 2. It's a very different experience. I'm almost half expecting if they do remaster Portable Third, they bring back the flooded forest, but it would probably somehow end up looking like how it does in Rise. And also some quality of life features are absolutely necessary, right? Like stuff involving your item box, your item pouch, and the gathering button prompts, like holding.
Just port GU to PC exactly as it is. No need to change quality of life. Leave it exactly as it is, and it'd be fine.
Button to gather, like that kind of stuff, that's these little things, they're standard now. They're very standard. And let's say somehow they do upscale and upgrade an older game to a standard that's very close to Monster Hunter World. At that point,
that's not gonna happen.
Well just make a new...
Okay, they would never port an older game and completely redo the graphics to look like World. That would be a complete waste of time. I hope no one out there is actually expecting that, because that is fucking stupid. And what I'm about to say is probably exactly what he's going to say, is that that's just going to be Wilds. Like, they're already making a new Monster Hunter with better graphics. They're not going to remaster any of the older games graphically.
New game, right?
Yeah, see? Yeah.
The audience for these older games are a tiny fraction of overall players.
This fucking commercial.
And if they did anything to change the experience of those original games, you know damn well the audience for those original games would be very upset by the
See, I wouldn't be upset if they changed, like if they brought back an older game and they did some changes. I wouldn't be upset at all. I would just think it's a waste of time. I think just fucking port it as is and like don't worry about it. Just do it quick so that we have something else to play until Wilds comes out, and then everyone will get the fuck over it when Wilds comes out, and then it'll be the end of that.
Changes. In the end, those players would go right back to playing the emulated versions. You know, the ones they already have save files for, the ones that already have communities built around.
I don't want an emulated version.
Servers that are operating right now. I'm saying all this not to say it's a bad idea, it's more of a reality check to understand, like, what is Monster Hunter? It's not like those other series that gets games ported. It's a very different experience. When a game gets ported, there needs to be sufficient reason for the work to be justified. As I've discussed already, the developers making these games are all about moving forward. Updating an older game does not assist them in making the new game better. Adding a SpNS to Portable 2nd G, as cool as that sounds on paper, does not help them in adding a SpNS to Monster Hunter Wilds, which I'm really hoping they do. The truth is, none of the previous titles are worth this. On a finance,
I don't want to have to emulate one, but I'll be honest, if like nothing grabs my attention between now and Wilds, and like I'll go back to GU eventually, but like if I get to the point, I might like emulate one of the older ones that has like servers that we can play together on. But I would prefer not to. I would prefer to not emulate, and I would prefer to rather actually give them my money and just buy it on Steam and play it officially if they let me.
Financial standpoint, it's not going to be a bestseller. On an image standpoint, it looks weird to release this archaic PSP games when investors want to see the next explosive new experience that'll double their profits. And on a developer standpoint, it gives them nothing for the next title. Here's another wake-up call. The truth is, you don't want a classic game. If you wanted a classic game, you would already be playing it emulated on your computer.
No, bad, wrong. I don't want to have to emulate. That's why I haven't emulated it. I don't want to. That's bad. That's wrong. That is no. That is speaking for the masses without knowing the masses' actual opinion. I don't want to emulate. I'd rather just play it through Steam and do it regularly. Like that's no, because like I could emulate. I could be emulating right now, and I actually very specifically have not emulated because I would prefer not to if I could avoid it.
Or you would track it down on original hardware.
No, again, I wouldn't track it down on original hardware because then I can't play with other people. I want it on Steam so I don't have to emulate, and then I can play with people. No.
Server shutdowns be damned. There are already replacement servers. you can play on hardware. If you really wanted to play the older games, you would already be playing them.
No.
Just like I am, just like everyone else.
No. Sorry, that makes me so mad. That's kind of like a really fucking pissed off take, dude. That kind of pisses me off. I want to play with people. I don't want to hook up my PS2 and replay the first one by myself when there's no servers. I don't want to emulate and have to deal with all the annoying issues that come with emulating. Like, yes, I could emulate, and I do want to play one of the older ones again, but I want to play with everyone in an official capacity with servers that run okay. Like, I don't want to, like, he's like, oh, well, just like hook up your old Wii and play it on your Wii if you just want to play it on the hardware without emulating. Okay, well, I guess that I'm fucking soloing the game, and I don't want to solo. I like playing Monster Hunter with people. There are servers, I know that's what I just said, but I don't want to emulate and have to go through these back-ended servers that aren't like, yeah, it would just, everything would be easier and smoother if it just had a Steam release, is my point.
You would track it down just like I did when I was a kid. I imported Portable Third overseas because I wanted to play that game so bad. Even though I was a kid, I knew nothing. I couldn't even speak Japanese, but I wanted to play it so bad.
I'm so proud of you.
I got a PSP and I imported the game, and they never released that game overseas. When you say you want a port of Monster Hunter Tri to PC, what you're actually saying is that you don't want to bother setting it up on PC.
I don't. Yeah, that's literally what I just fucking said. I don't want to bother. I don't want to have to emulate it. What's so fucking wrong with that? What is so wrong about not wanting to have to set up an emulation and a server in order to play it when if they just ported it, I could play it that way? I don't... I just want to pay and play, exactly. I mean, I will emulate if it comes to the point where we need something to play until Wilds comes out. I will do it, but preferably, I wouldn't.
Because you can play it on PC right now. Fairly easily, with online servers that are actually active with real people. Because the truth is, you don't want a classic game. You want a new...
I do. Stop saying you don't. Stop saying you don't. Because I do.
Monster Hunter experience. And Capcom is really banking on that.
I want both, yeah.
The only game I could...
I understand his, like, okay, what he's saying about why it hasn't gotten ported. I get it. I understand that. What I don't like about this right now is how he is generalizing for everyone in this. And that pisses me off.
See them eventually porting to Steam would be Double Cross. They could advertise it as the classic game with most of the best of the classic content. They could even rename it Monster Hunter Classic if they really wanted it to sell better. I foresee a remake per se that is essentially a spiritual successor to an older title. They'll probably eventually do a quote-unquote remake of Monster Hunter 1. It's going to be so different from Monster Hunter 1. They're probably not going to call it Monster Hunter 1. They're probably just going to call it Monster Hunter Classic or something.
Yeah, no shit. That's why it's called a remake and not a remaster.
Into that, but still it'll ultimately be a new game, and this is for the best for us, and this is for the best for Capcom, because this is what Capcom wants to do.
That's what I was saying earlier. Just release GU on PC. We would be happy. You would get money. Just pay that aiding company that was mentioned at the beginning of this video to port GU to PC. You don't have to change graphics. You don't have to change anything. We would be fine. I guess maybe the only thing you'd have to change is they'd have to implement mouse and keyboard features for people who are insane and play on mouse and keyboard, but that's about it.
And until they prove me wrong and port an older game to Steam, I'm pretty sure I'm right. I want to thank the numerous...
Yeah, I would pay $60 for a GU port to PC, probably. I probably would. Though I'd say maybe like a $40 price tag for a GU port would be better.
Patreon supporters, and I want to thank you all for watching.
Okay, I like this dude for his Legos, his Monster Hunter Legos. Like I said, I'm still going to, I want to build Baroth Legos, and I would love to build other ones too, and I'm going to do those in stream one time. But goddamn!
I really appreciate all of your support so much. It means the world to me that I can produce the content that I do. Thank you again. I really couldn't do it without you guys.
I did not expect this, to be honest. Everything was cool. Everything was fine. Everything was understandable. I got his reasoning as to why he thinks they won't port an older one. I get it. You know, I still think it's a bad like business decision, but I get his reasoning. But the moment he started saying, you don't really want this, I was like, I do. Fuck off. I do. Don't generalize me, bro. I don't want them to port GU to PC because I put 100 hours into Switch. I mean, I did that with Rise and World. I put over 100 hours into Rise and World on Switch and PlayStation, and then I restarted all over when I came to PC. I've done it before, and I'll do it again if they were to put GU to PC. Who is this? We? Wait, we? Like, wait, what do you mean? You pay $20 max for GU? I'd pay 40 for it, to be honest, just because I'd be excited. Boneyard, thank you for the follow. Me. I would do it, like, and I would start over, because, again, I did that for Rise and World. I bought the game twice, I played the game twice, and now I have more hours in PC than I did on the console version, so... When he says, we don't want this. Yeah, that's all, like, I don't like how he's like, you don't want this. I'm telling you right now what you actually want. And I'm like, no, that's so wrong. And also, I really think that he only focused on the American audience for this whole video and did not take into account other countries, especially Japan, man. I think Japan would eat up a port like crazy. And I think Americans would too, to be honest, because so many people only started on World and never got to experience the older games. And I think a lot of people, you know, they're going back to GU, so I think they would eat up an older game port. That's my opinion. I would like it. I would love Monster Hunter Diaries to come out in an English port. I've been wanting to play that game so bad. I would love to play Monster Hunter Diary. I've been dying to play that game. Wow. Okay. That video did not go as I was expecting. That was not what I expected in this. That was insane. Westerners ruin the Monster Hunter community. Nah. We helped keep it alive, let's be honest. I'm very, very happy that Westerners are finally enjoying the Monster Hunter series, because I've been playing since the first one and I had to deal with like no one ever playing. And now it's very nice that people do play and people do love Monster Hunter, and I'm very happy for that, even though I could deal without all the crazy Redditors and Twitter peoples. But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, look at Dark Souls, man. Dark Souls, fucking no one in America liked Dark Souls at the beginning. And now look at where Dark Souls is. Dark Souls is insane now. All right, you ready to nut?
No.
The video was nuts, man.
No.
I was not expecting that. I wasn't expecting to be so angry. At least not for the reasons I was. Thank you for nutting, and thank you for watching.